Thanks Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professional development. For today's terms only, the investment top today would be Ethereum, ticker ETH. First, I want to say happy Saturday, everyone. Hope a great weekend, by the way. Respect to recording time of 8:51 a.m. on Eastern time, Ethereum's currently trading like $3,245, kind of trading on sideways fashion, trading at 0.010% so far. Respect to Bitcoin, trade on sideways fashion as well, up about 0.07%, while Dogecoin and Cardano, respectively, are kind of trading on a comparable fashion as well. While respectively, Solana's up about 15% so far, surging all the way about like 30 minutes to 45 minutes ago to a $95 mark, attempting to hit the 3 digits mark for Solana today. Right, with respect to XRP, we are doing some normalization, but we do understand, knowing the fact that XRP demands a relatively lower price point. That's why it's kind of normalizing and surging back up a little bit more prominently at 3.5% so far. Right, with respect to Ethereum, I was reading up some news, collecting some media affectation this morning, just to see like anything specific that's driving some adjustments into the price level. I would say overall collectively there isn't anything specifically that's alarming or super compelling, if you may. It's just a lot of regurgitation news around the NFT adoption or the commercialization on a global perspective, right? And just to like name a few, right? So 6 hours ago, Decrypt talks about the Moonshot Bots NFT funds, right? And with respect to the this NFT fund has raised about $1.8 million so far. So it seems like this is another news talking about the commercializations of this artistic creation. These type of digital images, like these JPEG format pictures, that's been getting some investors' interest, right? Which is quite interesting. And then another one talking about on Bitcoin is about 8 hours ago with respect to the security vulnerability that we've been experiencing so far. Stem from Coinbase and Binance, and these are consecutive type of negative news that we've been hearing on the privacy and compliance front. And how, with respect to this 2.0, for Ethereum, as we shifted from the London fork that happened about 2 weeks ago, what's the implications around the privacy concerns going forward, right? And what would be some of the loopholes that we have to be watching out for or further implement to protect ourselves, as we are, massively, adopting and growing going forward, right? As you get scale even bigger, it could get out of hand if you don't, hold that control or have that strong infrastructure in place, right? So it's just another informative type of verbiage from this article. Nothing really persuasive. It's just more informative, if you may. Right, and then I'll talk about on Fortune magazines 10 hours ago, talk about Ether Rock NFT, now worth millions. So this is another regurgitation news about someone purchased, I believe, a rock, a picture of a rock for, I believe, close to $500,000, or over $500,000 for a picture of a rock. I don't understand it. This is something that I'm still kind of puzzled by it, but it's interesting to know. It's another step of approval for global commercialization for, or it's a new form of arts, right? Which is something that I'm not, a huge, I'm not very knowledge of, if you may. And then another news talking about, and this is something we talked about yesterday already, with respect to early Uber investor Bill Gurney takes a personal position in Ethereum, right? We do not know how much Bill Gurney has invested into Ethereum. It's just another name drop article, I guess, right? Something to be, good to know is trivial, right? For God we know, he could have maybe invested only $5,000 of Ethereum, but his net worth maybe like 20 million, right? But I guess it's a good news, but it's trivial. But is it really substantive? I would say, not really, to be honest with you. So that's really much on the media front. Now talking about just the technical perspective, right? With respect to Ethereum, we're still trading on a sideways fashion. We've been trading on a sideways fashion for quite some time now, and we've been in the complacency stage ever since the 7th, right? And today is the 28th. So we've been in a complacency stage for about 21 days so far, right? And ever since the surge, we were at the bottom of the 1718. We surged all the way ever since the B word summit, right, on the 20th. And ever since then, we've been surging up, and we hit the whole euphoria stage. We hit the new paradigm. So now we just kind of trade on a sideways fashion, right? Um, with respect to these green surge, these were the early indicators of basically a bull trap, if you may, right? And I think we thought one of this green candle was a prominent bull surge, and I think this is a secondary one, right? And this is forming some sort of a upward wedge. If you look at it, if you draw like a triangle onto this pattern right now, I think the consolidations is gonna get more and more minimal as we go, to the point that it's gonna be hitting an apex, and you can ideally just like imagine a triangle being drawn here, and as we hit that apex, once we hit that peak, and we have to understand this is a upward surge, triangle, upward wedge, like I keep mentioning, right? That by the point you hit the apex on the top of the triangle, you will sell off from there, right? And that's just a basic logic of supply and demand imbalance. And I think with respect to MACD, is we are still dragging up, and it's not a very bullish sign, because like we do not see any propensity of us crossing upward anytime soon, knowing the fact that RSI is already overbought on a relative level, right? We're not as running hot as we were back in the day, but this is still something we should be cautious of, because we are still overbought in terms of the ratio, right? So something to be mindful of. Again, I'll still be patient, and 3,000, 2,700, and then 2,750, 2,450 will be the level I would dollar cost average at, right? And I know people are like, are we really doing that? We just train on sideways fashion. The more we wait, I would say the more prominent and the more obvious it becomes, right? Because the signs are all showing up, and this seems like it's an upward wedge. So it's something to be cautious of, right? So with respect to the price target, 3,000, not price target, the entry price, 3,000, 2,750, 2,450. But if you buy now, like, don't listen to me, buy now and hold for long term, that's, over $10,000 going forward, right, in the future. So it's ultimately up to your risk tolerance, right? There's no wrong answer, right? It's just about your risk tolerance and your patience, how it will pay off for you going forward, right? So hopefully this is helpful. Appreciate you. And I'm gonna be going out with my family later today, so this is probably gonna be my only updates on Ethereum. But we'll see how it goes, depending on how early I come home. I'm still gonna be on my phone, so feel free to give me a shout, and stay tuned for this to come up. Take care. Bye.